How could we have been so stupid not to think of it? Take freedom into your own hands. You're not listening to the decisions of others. The pain of not being able to pay bills is much greater than the pleasure of creating art. But don't allow that criticism to completely turn you off achieving that higher version of yourself. Decisions are the ultimate decider in who we become. A path leading toward a decision that will change your life forever. Didn't happen overnight. Hello and welcome to episode 16 of Pat Nash RAW, where I speak to the camera without any preconceived idea of what I'm going to say. No script, just one chain of continuous conscious thought coming through me. Today I'm here in the Adelaide Hills. I found a beautiful track off the main road, a little bit off grid, which leads us into today's discussion. Today I would like to talk about off-grid decisions. Now, what do I mean by this? I'm not talking about living off-grid. I'm talking about coming up with new ideas, new decisions that will drive you into a better version, a higher state of yourself, all up here from within here. See, decisions are the ultimate decider in who we become. You can change your mind right now. You can have the power to look at your own thoughts, to choose your own thought patterns, which will ultimately create a different version of you right now. And that is a decision. You don't need to have all the right things fall into place perfectly for you to be able to begin walking your highest path right now. That is a decision. So what do I mean by off-grid decisions? Today, we are so heavily influenced by the external forces of other people's decisions, other people's influence, especially in the online communities. But don't think it's always been this way. There is a system in place, a system that has been used to market particular decisions that drive people into a particular way of living. Many may see it as the Australian dream, to have their own house, to have a family, to grow old in age with security behind them, to work that 9 to 5. And look, there is nothing wrong with this. If that's what makes you happy, if that's what makes them happy, then go ahead. There is security. It will give you a happy life. But then you have to ask yourself, is that one of freedom? The decision to take freedom into your own hands is not an easy one. There's no right way of doing it. And anyone that tells you that they can sell you freedom may be right in a particular way, but ultimately it comes down to you and your own thought patterns. It comes down to which particular habits and routines are you going to apply to yourself today, into the decisions you make right now to start stepping into a different version of yourself. So sometimes it's hard to see. It's very hard to see, and coming up with an original idea is not easy. But it's funny. It's funny when you see someone like T.X. Huxley, who was Charles Darwin's mentor. When Charles Darwin explained to him the idea behind evolution, behind natural selection, T.X. Huxley's response was, how could we have been so stupid not to think of it? See, the best ideas, the best decisions have a way of showing themselves, revealing themselves in a way that just seems obvious. This could also be explained in a eureka moment when you have this particular idea, you've had the hunch that has been growing over time. This hunch that something's developing in your mind, a new idea. a path leading toward a decision that will change your life forever. That hunch, you don't quite know what it is, but it's there. You may let it go for a moment, but then eventually you come back to it. You come back to it. You look upon those past thoughts, and then suddenly it clicks. That paradigm shift happens, and you're suddenly in a place to have that idea and, in turn, have the decision to start working toward that highest version of yourself. At the end of the day, we're all either chasing pleasure or running away from pain. And a lot of the time, this is what steers our decisions. Are you chasing pleasure or are you running away from pain? And knowing exactly what it is, which direction you're going, can play a huge part in the decisions that you make. The off-grid decisions, the decisions that no one else is making except for you. You're not listening to the decisions of others. You've stopped listening to the decisions of others. No one's deciding how you should run your life except for you. And that is the most powerful thing. It's the most powerful thing any of us can do. Nothing I say should steer your decisions in a particular way. Take everything for granted. Do your own research. And it'll be astounding at what you find, the miraculous findings that you can reveal to help you unravel exactly what it is out of this life. Exactly what you want. We're not here for a long time, but it's a long enough time to recognize that the right decisions can steer you in a very, very different way to what any other human may have been steered in the past. Let's have a look at someone like Tim Berners-Lee. When he was a child, he would read his parents' encyclopedias. This is decades ago. He loved the encyclopedias. There was a commonplace book where it would go through everything that you needed to know just to get by. As the years went on, he got into building systems and coding and becoming more in tune with the idea that an encyclopedia could be expressed in a very different way. He kept building and building and building. And during his time working at CERN, he was given the opportunity to work on his side project. A side project that would change the world. A side project that allowed him to use hypertext to connect one idea to another across different computers across the world. And you've probably guessed it by now. It's the World Wide Web. This particular idea, the decision to make this particular thing, this thing that we all know about today, well and truly, it didn't happen overnight. But when he made the decision to continue working on it, when he was given the time by CERN, for every 4 hours spent working on a particular project, CERN would give him a particular amount of time to work on his own side hustle. And working on that side hustle didn't just change his life, it changed the lives of millions of people around the world indefinitely. The decision of CERN and the decision of Tim Berners-Lee led him down a path. Those off-grid decisions led them into a new world. Now, you or I may not be the next ones to produce a product such as the World Wide Web. But this just shows you that we do have a power, and that power lies in our decisions, our off-grid decisions that may be either steering away from pain or toward pleasure. Let's jump down that rabbit hole for a moment. If you're walking away from pain, let's say that you've been working a particular job that you don't necessarily like, which is fine. We've all been there. Most of us have all been there. It may not be heading toward a place of pleasure, but the pain of not being able to pay the bills and provide for your family is much stronger than that is of you pursuing a path that lightens you. Perhaps you're packing shelves, but you want to be creating art. You know that the art at the moment may not pay those bills, so the pain of not being able to pay bills is much greater than the pleasure of creating art. The beautiful thing about creating art nowadays, little tangent, is that you can make astounding amounts of money and definitely support yourself and your family once you know how to market that art properly. A lot of the time these days, even if the product is miraculous, it comes down to the marketing. So that is a complete different rabbit hole. So understanding your off-grid decisions will undoubtedly lead you to a new place of wonder, to a place that you had not foreseen any time before. How you decide to approach this new place is completely up to you. And it usually starts with a vision. The vision of who it is you are aspiring to become. That aspiration is going to be your main driver. And you need to ask yourself throughout your everyday decisions whether this particular decision is leading you one step closer or one step away from that higher vision of yourself. Are you going to make the right decision or the wrong decision? Are you going to take the risk in trying to pursue this higher version of yourself, even if it means letting go of your high-paying job to pursue pleasure? Because no matter what, if you're taking a risk for that higher version of yourself, you are always taking a step forward. Sure, you may see a lot of loss in funds, you may see loss of companionship, you will see a lot of doubt. But on the other side of all of these seemingly negative things is something much greater. Something that you can pursue with all your might and know that that higher version of yourself is looking down, is looking back at you and going, mate, you're getting so close. It's like the image we've all seen where there's a miner digging toward the gold, and he's a fraction of a dig away from achieving that dream of accumulating all this gold in the mine. But he decides he's been digging for too long, so he turns back. When you make the decision to take a risk and to pursue the higher version of yourself, it's never in vain. You will never regret, giving yourself the best chance through all the discomfort, through all the negative connotations that other people have towards you. Negative connotations in the sense of, why are you taking this risk? You're too old to take this risk. What about your family? But that job, it's such a high-paying job. Why would you leave that? We all have our own reasons, and sometimes others will never understand until they take that leap of faith, just as you did. Now, of course, this is a huge trait in many successful people throughout history, particularly entrepreneurs, inventors. They've taken this risk. They were told that, no, that idea, it's not good enough. And you know what? Sometimes that is constructive criticism. That particular thing that you're doing as a part of that idea may not be right, so maybe give it a little tweak. Listen to the criticism, but don't allow that criticism to completely turn you off achieving that higher version of yourself. Because there is so much to learn from criticism. Don't see it as a negative. Approach it with positivity. Because that particular piece of criticism could be leading you toward the next great idea. It may lead you toward that next hunch. At the end of the day, if we're surrounding ourselves in a small community of closed minds, they're not going to be encouraging us to think bigger. There's talk of the collective consciousness and the hive mind, which are all great things. All the best ideas are out there floating in the world. But if we're so encapsulated by this small village of closed minds, how do you expect your ideas to flourish? This is why people take a risk and they go to New York City, where there's a plethora of other thoughts, other perspectives, people looking at the world with a different lens, looking at your ideas with a different lens. They will say, okay, that idea is absolute crap. This is what I think of that idea. Their thought could then lead into your next hunch, which is leading toward the next best idea, which will give you the best chance to have a decision to lead you into the best version of yourself, one that did not exist yesterday. That higher vision that you have of yourself can change. It can change every day if you want it to. But so long as it aligns with the values and the principles that you have behind your own self, it will not succeed. You must abide by those values, by those principles, to be open to criticism in order to achieve the higher version of yourself, to make the best decisions for that highest version. There are so many different ways that we can do this, and I could talk about this for a long time, clearly. But I think I've delved in deep enough today, so what we're going to do right now is have 3 deep breaths together and reflect upon what we have spoken about today. So find yourself in a comfortable position. Straighten your back, put your hands in either chin or jnana mudra, and close your eyes. Inhale. May we go about our days making the right off-grid decisions, not allowing the external forces of other negative ideas and connotations to influence our own decisions into the highest versions of ourselves. Exhale. Inhale. Our most authentic self can always be disillusioned by the external forces of the material world and those that do not understand. By expressing ourselves in that moment as authentically as possible, new ideas are born, constructed and delivered in the most true way as to what it is that you believe you are in that moment. Exhale. Inhale. May we always be accepting of the decisions of others, never to be afraid to give constructive feedback into assuring that those are following their own highest values and principles, to give themselves the best opportunity to create ideas that can lead them into the most fruitful path of their own lives and futures. Exhale. Thank you once again for joining me. Today's discussion may have gone a little bit longer than usual, but it is something that I'm very passionate about, having ideas and expressing them in your truest forms, to have those off-grid decisions where we don't allow the influence of others. We don't rely on, AI to help us decide what we are doing with our own lives. So what off-grid decisions can you make today that will influence a higher version of yourself right now? We don't need to wait till tomorrow to become that person. We can become that person today. We start embodying those particular traits. And once you do that, you'll see how quickly things start working in your favor. So once again, thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. As always, play safe with one another, be kind to each other, and bless you all.